You're listening to Agile Digital Business with host Vickie Maris. She's an author, speaker, and marketer, helping you with your business transition to digital in content marketing and customer engagement.
Hello, my friend. I am holding in my hand right now a copy of my new book, Job Loss and the Cutback Blues, Journey of Grief, Uncertainty, and Recovery After Being Let Go. I have made it available for you in 3 different formats. It's available as an ebook if you like to use a Kindle or a Kindle reader. It's available as a paperback like the one I'm holding. And I have finished the audiobook version. I'm so excited to have all 3 available, but it was especially fun for me to narrate the book for you right here in the studio. If you know of anyone who is going through a loss and working on the recovery of the grief associated with that loss, or maybe that's you, I would love for you to consider getting a copy. If you go out to Amazon, you can listen to a sample of the audiobook if that would be your preferred way to consume the content. And of course, you could order your own paperback version or get it as a download. Now, let's get on with this episode of the show.
Welcome to Online Course Connections. E-learning strategist and course designer Vickie Maris is about to share another tip, tool, or technique for you to use in your course creation. Let's go!
Let's talk about 3 different ways that you could approach your first topic for your first online course. I talk to people who would love to put a course out in a platform like Udemy or any of those online platforms, but maybe they have several different areas of expertise. Is that you? Do you have several different areas of expertise? I bet you do. I think most of us do. Well, sometimes you can just be kind of stumped on where to get started. In my life at the university, I've most often been helping other content experts put their courses together. And so I was in this spot when I was creating a course for the Udemy platform where I was wearing all of the hats. I was the content expert, the course creator, the techie person, the person who had to understand how to use ScreenFlow or whatever equivalent software you wanted to use to create your course videos, assuming that the platform involved uploading course videos. So lots of different hats I was wearing. So I'm speaking to those of you who are in that boat right now, that you're going to be all of those roles, and you're trying to decide, what do I want to teach to my learners? There are 3 different approaches that I think are great places to start. The first being, take a content area where you have a lot of expertise and a super amount of comfort in speaking about the topic. One of those types of topics where you could just talk about it at length and just not run out of things to say. That is a really great place to start. Another thing that you can do is bring in a content expert and interview that person for your course videos. I have done that with one of my courses. It's a course about World War II and the life on the home front in the U.S. while World War II was going on. My mom, Lucille Maris, was willing to be my content expert. She was a young bride to my dad, Jim, in the early 1940s. He was going through flight training and they were moving from base to base. And then when he was deployed, I talked to her about her experiences and dealing with those stresses of times in the United States when the war was going on. So there's an example, and feel free to go out and take a look at that course. You can watch the preview videos in Udemy. That's how you and anybody who's interested in taking a course in Udemy can decide if it's a course that they definitely want to purchase. So just for purposes of seeing what I'm talking about here with interviewing a content expert for your videos, why don't you go take a look at that and get some ideas from it? The third approach that you could take is pick a topic that you would like to be learning about, and then delve into that topic as a student and take notes along the way so that you can create content and teach other people how to do that certain thing that you wanted to learn yourself. An easy example of this would be, let's say you wanted to learn how to use a particular software. If I call out ScreenFlow, for instance, which is a software that a lot of us course designers use, and you can interchange ScreenFlow or Camtasia. They are so similar. ScreenFlow is the one I use on my Mac. But let's say I wanted to learn that tool from scratch and be able to teach it to others. Start from scratch. Start taking a course or two yourself that other people have taught. Join some sort of discussion thread or online Facebook group, or interact with other people who are at different stages of understanding how to use ScreenFlow. Again, keep lots of notes as you're going. I'm not talking about just written notes. You might also actually audio or video journal your path through the learning experience. And maybe some of that could later become your course videos, or at least you could have that content transcribed and it might become at least the basis for the new video that you would create. In the music business, when my husband and I are creating new projects for CDs or working with our friends and colleagues in the music world, we call those scratch vocals, where you go ahead and sing into the mic and your recording engineer is recording it. You capture those scratch vocals, and it allows all the other musicians who are going to play on a particular song, they play to those scratch vocals, and then the vocalist comes back in and records the final vocals once all of the instrument tracks are laid down. Well, this is kind of that same concept. You go ahead and record as you're learning, do that audio, create that video, but just consider it your scratch vocals or your scratch video track. As I mentioned just a few moments ago, you can always have that content transcribed, then edit the content, and then create your keeper video or your keeper audio track. You get the idea.
If you're looking for a way to say thank you to Vickie for her efforts in producing and hosting online Course Connections, consider leaving a 5-star rating and review for the show in iTunes. Or you can visit her page on Patreon and become a patron sponsor of the show at any level that feels right for you. Check out patreon.com/Vickie Maris for more.
So there are 3 different ways that you might use for approaching your first course that you want to create for Udemy or some other similar type of platform. I'll recap them quickly. 1, start out with that content area where you are really comfortable, you know the content inside and out, and it's just easy for you to talk about. Number 2, bring in a content expert and interview that person on video or in audio. Maybe you're taking notes and you're going to do something in a written form. Use the expertise of a content expert. You can also use several content experts in your course. And that third suggestion is to create a course around a topic you want to learn about, and take a lot of notes as you're learning and then teach it to somebody else using that online course platform of your choice. So there you go, 3 different ways that you could approach creating your first online course. That's a super way to practice being an online course designer using any one of those 3. Just get started, get your first course out there, and you can always modify it as you move along and get feedback from your students and your customers.